does so well some games where he's just absolutely unstoppable. And then other games, he's just downright absent.
Yeah.
And that inconsistency is something that can obviously come back to bite TSM in big moments. The good news is that I would argue that Merc has never really been absent in big money matches. In this particular matchup against Mirage, I think you're going to need everybody coming out swinging. Mirage surprised us with their very first match in Playday number 1. I think they regressed back to the mean in their matchup last week against OXG. Here on Chalet, it's anything goes. You know, the analysts suspected that maybe Mirage got caught off guard with the operator bans, or got caught off guard with the map bans. We'll see if the same applies for the operator bans here now. As your operator bans, Thatcher and Nomad, not really much of a surprise with a map like this. Well, Mai and Maestro, and if you'd like, take us through these operator bans for this map.
Yeah, so Thatcher is pretty typical. I'm sure we're all used to this at this point. It's going to make opening of walls more difficult, but with Maverick in play, that's not going to be too much of a problem. And on Chalet, we do see a lot of hard destruction, but much of it is easily facilitated by an Ash charge from below or above or wherever. The only problem with entry is going to be in the basement. So when we do go downstairs, which seems to be round number 1, preferably the attack is going to have a Maverick, but because they don't know what site they're going into here, they're not going to bring that Maverick. They will bring a Zero. That will help at getting the wall open. You can throw a cam into the site and destroy whatever happens to be on the wall. So there's some maneuverability here for TSM. They're not leaving themselves in a bad spot. The Nomad ban is going to be really important because there are a lot of potential flanks on this map, and holding default flanks are not yet well ingrained in the comp teams, obviously, because we haven't seen a lot of play on this map. The defender bans, Mai and Maestro, I mean, that's pretty typical as well. You're going to want to get rid of one of the two denial operators between Jaeger and Wamai, no matter what map you're on. And the Maestro, yeah, okay, you just don't want to deal with the Alda. You don't want to deal with the Evil Eyes. I feel that. Overall, interesting ban phase so far. For Chalet, it will be impactful mostly on the basement because of that Thatcher ban.
For an operator like a Maverick would come in really handy here, but I mean, he's not being brought. Just a single hard breach is being trotted out by TSM. So, well, I mean, this could be shaping up to be a wine take rather than that front snowmobile garage. And for those of you that are not familiarized with Chalet, I'm sure you've probably played it at this point, as it's been in the game for quite a while. It's one of my favorite remakes, actually. And I really like the changes that they've made here. Now, one of the biggest changes that's been made is in regards to how this bottom floor bomb site is played out. Blue now connects all the way back to a newly reworked wine cellar, so you can hold that a little bit more aggressively. You can also you can also rather hold it from above. For those that are curious, by the way, B Money is Benji Mula, who plays on this team. So Benji's obviously changed his name to B Money. Not loading is just loading now. Hot and cold is now Hotton. So we've seen a couple changes here for the names. Regardless, there's a mute jammer that's going to be the only denial for Mirage. It's downstairs on that snowmobile wall, so they can't open it up just yet. You can see the Selmas go. Zero is a very popular operator. You're going to see him played on this map quite a lot. He's great for holding flanks. His Sam cams, as we often refer to them as, can go just about anywhere. And fun fact, Chalet gets the very first kill. Feel free to have your Chalet appreciation posts ready for the Rainbow Six Pro League subreddit.
So with the early entry there from the Zero, a little bit of a slowdown here on the round. Chalet's just controlling the main lobby. That's going to give good cutoff points. Nade down to the bottom of main stairs, and loading takes a whole heck of a lot of damage. They'll still be up, but not in a great position. The worst position, though, for Achieved is Hotton on the roam inside of office, is able to shut him down. It's going to be a good call from one of his teammates to facilitate that kill. It looks like it might have been through the punch hole there in office wall onto the top of main stairs. Achieved was the one to throw the nade. Loading. One tap onto Geo. We didn't see it, but we certainly heard it. Doesn't matter if you're low on HP. If you can land shots like that. And he's changed his name. Certainly he has also loaded into the server this time. Hopefully, for his sake, he'll have a better performance here than in the last few maps.
TSM treading water at this point, and they don't really seem to know what to do with the hold that they have inside a main lobby. They hear the explosion go off above them in the office, and they know that somebody's up there, but they don't know exactly where. Is the a great shot from Bolo. I was going to say, is the Yana spotted out by Hot and Cold, but no, Bolo's just better on that position. wary of that camera going on. Might have been spotted at the last second, unsure just yet, but he's got a barricade up that he's going to need to chew through. As Chalet just eyes an opening through Snowmobile, and in he goes. Not loading down as Chalet attempts the plant. Hot and finished off, and it's Nyx now in a 1v2. As TSM seems to have been able to fix things. Beautiful kill from Nyx, but he's not able to get the diffuser as it's planted successfully. The man who started off the action, Chalet, will also be the one to finish it for his team. A tense 1v1 here in the very first round. Now, Nyx is going to need to take out that diffuser. And the gaping opening inside of the garage. He doesn't know where anybody is, and he'll expend a nitro cell. Chalet is far enough away. He'll just inch around and sees Nyx run out, and it's the wrong direction. Easy cleanup for Chalet as a big round from the 0. And TSM managed to take what appeared to be a bit of a stall out in that mid-round and fix things as need be. TSM takes round 1.
Beautiful play there in the post plant from Chalet. He had 3 cameras in his pocket after he got that plant down, and we did see him throw at least one of them out, so you can bet that, yeah, just one of them actually. You can bet that his team was making a call off that camera that he threw out. And I mean, that's a hard post plant to lose if you're Chalet. It's not really Nyx's fault that that went poorly in the attempted clutch. I mean, how you gonna retake a post plant planted right on the Snowmobile garage wall? It's just not gonna happen. So well played the TSM. The roam from Mirage was not fully cleared out, and the overall attack was a little bit weird from TSM. I have to chalk that up to Chalet still being fresh and the meta not being fully established, because it looked kind of like TSM wanted to do a full clear, but then they didn't. And then that cost them. But then they won anyway because they won some key gunfights and were able to distract. I really love Bolo's play in that round. He got the 1 kill onto Houghton up in Kitchen that he shouldn't have gotten. Houghton really should have won that fight. He had the advantage. And then he managed to distract the rest of Mirage inside, allowing Chalet to get the plant. So hero plays from Bolo. TSM starting off good.
I do like how adaptive that roam was from Mirage. You had Houghton playing upstairs. I don't think they knew where he was. They were having some trouble droning out the players from Mirage, despite the fact that the only thing that could really stall them out in that position would have been the Mozzie pests. But regardless, I mean, it was played effectively. And the one thing that you see on a map like Chalet, and it's been played a couple times in the other regions. The first time that we saw it, the very first map, the very first play day of the EU League, boom, Chalet, first things first. And Geo, never mind, just walks into the bomb site, gets a kill, and now he's going to get the diffuser down quite easily. Mirage has been boxed out. There's still 2 minutes left in this round, and the diffuser goes down, cutting the amount of time down to only the 40-second timer. And TSM has Mirage in their clutches, leaving Houghton and B-Money to try and do something for their team. Now, they've managed to do some damage to TSM. Houghton swings onto the doorway, gets a very first kill, needs more, but he gets fragged by Achieve on the main stairs. Achieve charges into the bomb site. Benji Mula's boxed out. Merc gets that one.
Oh, man.
And TSM very quickly take yet another round.
That one was not even close. TSM... it looks like they just vaulted in through the site window. And that's really interesting and a smart observation from TSM, as it's true that oftentimes teams will set up the bar site in a way that does not actually have a hard cover on the billiards window. The reason for that is because, generally speaking, it is assumed that the drop being opened in library is enough pressure to dissuade the attackers from vaulting through that window. But you can't also... it's weird because you can't hold the drop because of the windows in library. So TSM read into that, figured out that, yeah, I mean, the drop's going to be open, but we don't have to worry about it. Just walked into sight and took full advantage of the negligence in the defensive setup from Mirage. I mean, it's not going to work again, Parker, but it's still a great observation from TSM.
Don't say that. It absolutely might. You can never say that. You can't just barge in there and be like, Parker, it's clearly not going to work. And then it happens again, and you're like, I didn't expect this one.
If Mirage lets that happen again, then they deserve to be relegated, and we're only in the beginning of this stage. So let's just say.
And we're only in the beginning of the stage, and you're already telling a team they deserve to be
No,
relegated.
I didn't say that, Parker. I said if they let
Mirage,
them vote,
we're just gonna relegate them right here, right now. By the way,
vault
they don't
in
have
through
any more
Billiard's
chances.
window one more time without any contention whatsoever, then they haven't learned their lesson, and it was a pretty blatant mistake. And yeah, that's egregious, Parker. I don't know how else to put it. It's a new map, but you got to learn from your mistakes.
No way you're already see, but this is, by the way, clip it and ship it. Caster Kickstar.
Oh my gosh.
Claims Mirage deserves to be relegated.
You're making a much.
Already.
No, I didn't. Okay, Chala's gonna vault in.
They tried it again, by the way. You were talking about it. They vault on into the trophy. But it's a trophy window this time, obviously. It's a little bit farther off. They try to vault on in. Hot and Cold is prepared and ready for that, and he downs Chala.
I only said that because I knew they wouldn't make that mistake again, Parker. Come on.
Chala's playing the operator, which is very aptly named 0, which happens to be the amount of things that Chala's going to do this round. So he's out, and he'll bleed out. They'll have to go get him. Gets picked back up by Geo. Great teammates, by the way. Merc is inside the map. He's upstairs trying to hunt on his own as Bolo gets droned in through West Main, and he'll wait very patiently. You're absolutely right, though, by the way. TSM doesn't just vault into Billiards, get a plant off after Geo gets a kill, and then vaults out. So far, you're correct.
Yay, I'm doing it. Now, the clear upstairs for TSM is a lot more uniform. It seems to be focused more extremely on actually getting those roamers. That's a great use of the gadget from Yana. The clone destroying the Styria gate. And now we've got that cleared out. The rest of TSM can start to apply pressure to Library. It's not going to be easy to dislodge those roamers, though. They're in a great spot, and they've got the bulletproof camera by Chimney to support them.
Loading's in a pivotal position right now. Got barbed wire, nothing to really deal tons of damage in terms of an explosion, other than maybe the Goyo shield in front of him. And they've got this cross that Mirage has established on the window by Library, and Benji Mula is looking at the other one playing in front of the other Goyo shield that's been positioned. Benji's focus turns over towards the hallway leading to Piano to see what TSM is going to do. We talked in the very first round about how TSM almost looked like they were going to stall out in the mid-round. They solved that in the previous round by having no mid-round whatsoever and just jumping in and getting the diffuser down. But still, again, we're not really in the mid-round. We're in the end game at this point, 30 seconds to go, and TSM are having significant troubles breaching this top floor. Now, it is a 5v5 as Chala's been picked back up. They'll have to do some work. Merc spots one, and he'll duel Benji. They both swing. It's sloppy aim on both parts, but Merc walks away with the kill. 2 more, though, for Mirage, as it gives them the advantage. Now Bolo down, gives MRG, as they're listed on the right side of your screen, perfect opportunity to win this one. Ultimate disrespect as Hot and Cold with the pistol collects 2 kills. They're not going to be visible on your screen because it's the Frost of Dream to get the final one. And Mirage managed to learn from their mistakes in that second round, make a course correction, and they finally get themselves on the board.
And they avoid relegation.
They're not allowed. Yeah, Mirage, you hear that now, by the way? Not allowed to be relegated. Not allowed. Kickstarter has said it.
Oh, boy. No, but anyway, good learning, as you mentioned. Mirage definitely correcting. But also TSM went for a very different play. The top floor clear there was the problem for TSM, as they had to clear out 2 Goyo shields in a perfect crossfire that you pointed out by Chimney and top of backstairs. That crossfire from Mirage was just too much for TSM, and they were unable to get those shields until it was too darn late. They already lost too much manpower and time just lingering, waiting for some kind of opportunity to get that control they needed above. So TSM not likely to go for a top clear again if it's a bar defense later on in the match. But for now, it'll be a master hold from Mirage. Now, this is one of your more common bomb sites on the, if you're playing ranked and you're just having some fun with some buddies, or even a high-level ranked, 5-stack, very sweaty. You'll usually see this in the bottom floor played most. We do see some bar and some dining as well, occasionally.
10 seconds left.
The setup here is, generally speaking, having a rotation in the closet and a rotation between the sites. The exact location of those rotations is up to you. Fully reinforcing over by the quad wall, or the the box, as some people will call it. But in this case, it's going to be Mirage opening up half of box, reinforcing the other half, extending into library with 4 players, no, 3 just now, extending over to library and trying to hold any push into sight from library, or holding the roam from library as well, or roam clear, excuse me, from library. In TSM side, it's actually going to be a Solarium take, which has become much more popular on this side as of late.
This is a pivotal part of the map, whether you're defending the kitchen bomb site, as you talked about, or whether you're defending upstairs. And Bolo vaults in. It's not the Iana clone this time. It's himself, and he gets some damage from not loading, who's now just loading at this point. So, again, TSM taking some damage on this entry. That was the same window in the same spot that Chalet was felled from in the previous round. He got picked back up, but TSM are just obviously not aware of the angle play that Mirage is holding, and it was hot and cold last time. This time around, not loading to do it. So, Mirage very clearly have prepped on this map to a certain extent. The analysts had speculated that because it was Chalet and not Coastline, that Mirage might have simply been outfoxed in the ban phase. Doesn't appear so at this point. Chalet goes down as the very first casualty for TSM. Merc refrags onto Dream, but it's not the person who managed to take Chalet out. And the wall getting opened up in Solarium is, they know there's a Valkyrie camera somewhere. Merc's just got to find it. Clearer entry now for TSM towards the bomb site.
Ooh, this flank for Nyx could pay out well, and Hotten's gonna get his second as well. There's no flank watch, and this is a freebie, but oh, barely managed just to get that one in the end. Very scary, and as Bolo gets loading, it's looking less and less like a Mirage round. There's another great entry from Geo. Bolo even securing a knife kill. Hotten over in Piano, the top fragger for his team in a 1v2. A whole minute left for these attackers, though, and they're gonna drone Hotten out and take this one patiently. No need to rush. With the drone placed, the dead members on TSM calling out across. Drone into bathroom, finds Hotten. He'll reposition over to the closet. And no, swinging into sight, he'll be felled by Geometrics. TSM take their 3rd round.
Well, the one thing that went well for Mirage on that one was that they got the very first pick, and the opening pick obviously helped them a little bit through the mid-round. And then, well, TSM managed to right the ship, so to speak. What a mess that whole engagement on Solarium was. Not just Solarium stairs, but all the involvement with the, what was it, 3 or 4 different players that dueled in that particular spot. It just did not work out very well. And I mean, this is something that's been said of Chalet matches so far and was talked about heavily after that EU play day, about how Chalet is very much a frag heavy map at the moment. There is strategy involved, but once a wall or two gets opened up on most of these bomb sites, it's just an all-out free-for-all. And we saw that right there with that Solarium wall getting opened up in the Master. It disallows the defenders from holding so many strong positions because you've lost control of Solarium unless you go for a retake, which banning Nomad allows the defenders to retake more freely without the fear that a lot of these teams would bring. And obviously, Nomad is a very good operator that TSM likes to bring a lot. TSM banned out Nomad, so they know how to play around it. But regardless, the defenders get pushed out of so many crucial positions when that Solarium wall gets opened up, especially if the window gets opened up and there's any kind of presence from an upside down rappel on that window in Master 2. You basically have to fall off of that bomb site, and then you play out of either bathroom or the closet. If the closet has a rotate to bathroom, you still have to be wary of the bathroom window as well. So you basically just need to start shooting at that point, which is what we see most teams do. And that's why all hell broke loose when the Solarium wall got opened up in that previous round.
I mean, it is partially down to the map, but I gotta say there's a lot of bits and bobs of strategy that are just being forewent by both teams. For example, in the last round, why was there no one watching flank for TSM? Like, seriously, it's so easy. You could either put somebody in trophy to just hold the hallway, or a drone maybe, so somebody can call it when they die. There were dead people on TSM. Somebody could have called that out, but there's just no emphasis put on that. I know the Nomad is banned, and that's a major inconvenience, but there's still plenty of other tools you could use for flank watch, and that could have gone a lot cleaner for TSM. This is going to go well for TSM as Merc gets the initial frag. Down goes Benji as, Merc has just walked into the building through a window, chilled for a bit, and then picked up his first kill on one of the roamers. Spotted upstairs is Hotten. It is an odd way that this map is playing out. The roamers, though, from Mirage in this round at least, not working very well.
I like the creativity of the roam for Mirage. I said this before, I'll say it again. Houghton punishes Merc on it, and he joins his cousin Nyx at the hip as they're now in West Main, ready to head back downstairs. Despite all this actioning happening upstairs, like so many different maps, this is, of course, a defense of a different floor. It's a wine defense again. Loading is stuck in the corner as one of the sites from TSM is staring him down, waiting, and I don't know if there's any salvation or way for him to get out. If Dream is capable of smoking it off, then it might be possible for Loading to rotate out of that position. It looks like he tried to. He gets softened up and then finished off. The smoke is a little bit too late for his teammate to survive. So what was an even 4v4 has now become a disadvantage for Mirage with just over a minute to go. Very quickly equalizing it, though, is Houghton from a long-range snipe onto Chalet, finishing him off. And this roam for Mirage is still paying dividends.
Was working out poorly in the beginning, but Houghton has managed to correct that. Not only that, but he has got 9 kills, and he is far and away the top performer for this map on both teams. Challenging from blue is Bolo. Good pre-fire there onto the shield, but Dream, or rather Nyx, peeks on the side of the shield rather than the top. Ooh, doing more damage to Nyx, allowing the cross, though, is Houghton back inside of Snowmobile. This back and forth has not managed to claim any bodies just yet on either team, but TSM has an abundance of information on the last 3 defenders, or at least 2 of them. Nyx in blue, Houghton spotted behind the shelf, and the nade misses! Oh no! And the push-in will work for Geo, but now he's got a plant, and there's not a lot of cover. Achieved in blue will get 1, Bolo from Snowmobile the other. TSM will manage to take yet another round.
There's no ADS there. That spot for you is at Death Trap. I'm surprised they stuck 2 bodies in there with the eagerness that we saw from Mirage. I understand why somebody's playing in that spot. You're able to control blue. You can watch if somebody pushes in that direction. You can also help with anybody pushing a line, and then you've got the opening to Snowmobile. But there's still frags left on the board. Your ADSs are no longer in position to help you at all. And I gotta give some props here to the way that TSM played that one out, because I looked at the clock with 40 seconds remaining and I saw the fact that Bolo was on blue stairs needing to push down to elbow, and there's somebody sitting on that deployable shield. He's playing as Yana. He doesn't really have anything to flush that player out other than just taking a duel. And there's barbed wire in his way to slow his advance. And that's going to cut into the remaining clock in the round for TSM. But they knew better than I did, obviously, and there was a rotation that we didn't see on screen because it was Achieved who ended up taking up a spot on blue stairs while Bolo went elsewhere, and it allowed Mirage to just simply wait and then die. Hot and cold has been the story for Mirage thus far. This has been the case in all of their matches. I mean, you saw the DZ Mirage match back in Playday number 1. We refer to it as the Hot and Cold Revenge Tour because that's what we say in North America. And Hot and Cold trying to enact some revenge, or exact some revenge on his former teammates. He has been head and shoulders above the rest of Mirage so far. And even though it would be suggested that Hot and Cold was a last-minute acquisition to this roster, it has been a huge bright spot for this brand new team to the NA League. And right now he's leading the way for his team in more ways than just what we see on the scoreboard.
Okay, so it's bar defense again. And once more, TSM want to clear from the north side. Last time we saw this, well, they hit a wall. And a wall's name is Houghton. He's trying to effect the same sort of pressure in this round by holding the trophy vault in as well as the west lobby. He'll fall back as soon as he's droned out, though. They've got the mirror window to support that hold as well later in the take from TSM. I don't know how I feel about TSM committing once again to a north over top clear. It just worked so poorly last time, mostly down to the time that was burnt by the 2 Goyo shields, one at chimney, one at top of backstairs. That position for Mirage was so strong. I don't know if TSM's gonna be able to, correct the course this time around.
They've been keeping Chalet on intel operators and on that flex roll where he can also watch flank. With Bolo stuck on Iana, there's a glaring absence of a Zofia on TSM's lineup. And I mean, so far it hasn't really been that much of a problem, but she would be obviously a critical operator here, especially aligned with a Sledge and an Ashe. Ashe, of course, now has 3 of those breaching rounds, so she can use those at her discretion to try and pick up any Goyo shields that you might see in her way. As for this, Merc, not going to do too much. How about that? Breaking double digits, hot and cold with an explosive start. 2 nitro kills onto Merc and Bolo. Down go your nades, down go your explosives. TSM find themselves in significantly tougher spot because of that.
Beautiful nade there from Achieve, though, to try and balance it out. However, it only nets 1 kill, not 2. So TSM still 1 man down, and they have yet to clear these Goyo shields. They were about to do it before the C4 came from below, but now they are just going to have to ponder their options. The top floor clear is not likely to be successful, even though Achieved can get control of Library if he plays his cards right. With the clock ticking down, Mirage are poised to win this one off just waiting out the round.
So here they go towards the top of Library stairs, watching the wall that's been opened up ever so slightly. The Goyo shield will slow them down for just a couple seconds as it explodes into flames in front of them. So TSM will need to attempt a death drop. Just waiting, watching, mirror windows staring intently at them as Dream is inside of stock, just watching and waiting himself. No nitro cell to thwart his opponents, but he'll be able to chew through them with the Vector in hand. Loading is also getting the cross towards this Library stairs setup, but Geo walks in, gets the frag. Now it's Benji Mula here to try to do something with it. He stops it in its tracks, and all the frags from TSM are not going to stop the bleeding as nobody can recover the diffuser. The first half in the books, Mirage manages to take round number 3 and round number 6 on the same bomb site. It's good enough for 2 of the 6 rounds, but we'll see what they can do now as they move to attack.
Geo might have been able to clutch that one out, actually, after he got the kill on the mirror window. That was an impressive frag. But nope. The half wall, not even half wall, more like 1/3 wall, was not sufficient cover for the plant. Even when you're planting, so when you are planting, your head does duck down lower than when you're crouching. But yeah, I guess that wall is just not tall enough. Lesson learned there for TSM. It's 4-2 though. On an attacking half, I would assume on Chalet that's pretty good. So we'll see what TSM can bring out now that they are over on the defense. They'll start on Bar Gaming, which has proven to be a pretty strong site for Mirage at least. And actually, it was the only place that they managed to win, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, we'll see what TSM can bring out here on this same site. So no Mira being brought. The Frost is continuing to be a go-to pick. No Goyo as well for TSM. So the 1 shield at top backstairs, but no secondary for Chimney. It's a different setup, but very similar. They're expecting, I assume, a north over clear on the top floor. That appears to be what's been happening a lot in scrims because this setup is well rehearsed.
10 seconds to go.
It's an interesting take. I got to be honest with you, though, Parker. This map is so new. It's so early in the meta that the north over top clear for a bar defense is not necessarily set in stone. And from what we've been seeing so far, I would assume that there's got to be a better strategy out there.
I mean, look at a map like Villa, look at a map like Coastline, look at a map like Cafe. All 3 of these maps came into the map pool. Coastline coming in as a fresh map, obviously. Villa 2, Cafe the rework. And the sites that we saw used very reliably have changed over time. Penthouse Theater used to be one of the best and most desirable bomb sites for teams, and that has slowly changed. It went from pro play and then down to ranked, where teams avoid it like the plague, and Kitchen is now seen as an extremely viable bomb site. On Cafe, the top stairs bomb site, up on Cocktail, it sees seldom play now as well. So things will change over time. Chalet, I imagine, will too. Merc, by the way, he's 6-6 for this particular matchup because he gets felled by Nyx on the entry from the Ashe main. Nyx is almost always involved in this conflict at the start of each round. Oftentimes, unfortunately, doesn't go so well for Nyx. This round, not the case. He gets the opening pick for Mirage.
So again, it is a head-to-head between Loading and Merc on the community poll. Merc is still winning that head-to-head, even though he's not having the best performance. Certainly not a Merc expected performance. He is still having a better performance than Loading. So, moving on in this round, Loading still has a chance to change that. What is most apparent, though, is that top over north clear is not going so smoothly for Mirage. It's seeming a lot like the same thing we saw on the last half here. There's still time for change. Plenty of it, actually. There's at least been an efficient clear on the north side for Mirage. And a vault in through the window. He's already in Chimney, Bolo. You've got to watch that push. He reloads because Geo is covering, though, and Geo will pick up 2 frags on that. Beautiful hold for his teammate. Bolo now in a position to actually hold for himself, and he'll take down Loading. Nays coming in from Library, and TSM in firm control. Achieved flanking downstairs. Bolo gets his second frag as Houghton tries to play the Library window. TSM absolutely shutting out Mirage is clear on the top floor.
And with the exception of the entry from Nyx, that would have been a flawless round from TSM, as every single remaining member of Mirage gets caught out. There's not much they could do in that regard. Not a great round from Mirage, especially not having the intel on both Geo and Bolo posted up by Library and by Fireplace, or Chimney as it's called at the top, because, well, the Fireplace is on the main floor. So Mirage decides to take a timeout, even though Team SoloMid, or TSM, are clear and present on your screen. If I'm Mirage, something's gotta change here. I mean, obviously, you're taking a timeout after your very first attack. You don't exactly have a lot of runway left if you don't take a timeout right now. TSM wins the next round, you're on match point. And we've been critical of teams taking timeouts on match point because they could have done it sooner. The problem is that because Mirage went down the deficit they did through that first half, they got to take it now, or there's no other time for them to really do it. So they're going to talk about it and hopefully figure something out, because we've seen it on defense, with the exception of their 2-bar defenses, those 2-bar billiards defenses that we saw, which were constructed quite well. The rest of what we saw out of them doesn't exactly inspire a ton of confidence. And right now, it's just simply seeming like, one, Mirage is a newer team that's still acclimating to top-level play. TSM historically, and it's been proven to be one of the best teams in the entire world, not just in North America. So Mirage are already going to have their hands full, even on a favorable map. But here, I think there is some... I think that there's some credibility here to what the analysts said about the fact that Mirage might have just simply been beaten in the map selection phase and are struggling now to get a grip on a map that not a lot of teams have a ton of knowledge to play on.
I mean, yes and no. I will say both of these teams are playing this map similarly. And to be frank, strategically, neither of these teams seems apparently... like, it's not obvious to me that one team knows the map better than the other. That's what I'm picking up on here. We're seeing a lot of loose strategy that is not necessarily perfected. You know, because we see for example, the last match we just watched on Clubhouse, it seemed like both teams strategically had a deep understanding of what was happening, right? However, what is that?
10 seconds left before insertion.
I said that I would remove your tongue.
Library?
5 seconds to go.
Brary!
Oh, Brary. Library?
Attackers are moving out to locate a
Library.
bomb and defuse it.
Stoke says it too, by the way, so you're in good company.
Oh my.
Do you really want to be in the same company as Stokes, though? Let's be honest here. Stokes is the new Flynn. I mean, like, what you want to be with him?
Huh? No, I mean, yes and no. He's a great caster and a good friend. But
Why do you have to be? I'm trying to be rude to Sam, and now you're being nice, and now it makes me look...
well, I mean, you're a terrible person, Parker. We all know that, so it's not exactly surprising to anybody.
Okay, this is not how I expected this to go.
Ooh.
Not Bolo probably didn't
Yeah,
either.
nice shot there from Loading. Down goes Bolo, and now one of your top performers for TSM picked off early. Anyway, as I was trying to, we were saying something about strategy. I wanted to say that Chalet is still not fully fleshed out, and both of these.
Yeah, you were saying that neither team is particularly comfortable, and I'll agree with that absolutely.
Yeah.
And I mean, we saw it in EU. We saw it in that very first EU matchup, which I'll go back to, because obviously it's always tough to be the first team to go to a new map. And I know that Chalet is an old map, and people will say, well, actually, no, it's considered a new map. It's been reworked. It plays very differently than it used to. And if you look at how some of these executes happen, there is very little similarity to previous bomb sites. So don't but me.
I will try not to lie.
No, not you. I mean, the other people. Twitch chat.
Right. Well, I mean, they're going to do that
Yes.
no matter what. Ash charge from below, actually a little too far forward there. It's got to be on the other side of the pillar. And there you go. You can see it now. The wall is actually displayed clearly by those pillars on the ceiling. And now with the second Ash charge, the wall will open up. Half the round still to go for Mirage. And with the early pick and the wall open, their attack is looking pretty solid, as they have themselves in a good position to go for a half wall plant. This is looking a lot more like ranked than anything, but I'm not terribly surprised by that, given the site selection and the current setup.
Yeah, and I talked about how important Solarium is as well to just push out the defenders, and there's still time for Mirage to put their attention in that direction. It certainly doesn't seem like they're going to, at least not from what we can tell from the silhouettes. So this is a full-on south side execute, which is going to be over towards that master wall. Hot and cold dumping in frag grenades, a little bit of damage done to Chalet. It doesn't look like either will net a kill. Chalet somehow impervious to those explosions in front of him. He'll have to do some more work if somebody vaults into piano, as Merc has his side, not too far off, and he can watch the double doorway leading from the library hall as well. Nice crossfire established by them, as Merc can also see towards the wall that's been opened up. Nyx is going to have to swing, but target prioritization is crucial here. Dream's the one who nets Chala, and now Merc taking some damage. Mirage are just going to barge into the bomb site. Merc swings around, sees somebody, and thinks better of it. Tries to engage, but Benji Mula's better than him. Down he goes. Almost a flawless round. No, Achieved is going to stop it in his tracks. He's got a nitro cell too. He and Geo obviously shouldering the weight. Dream going for the plant. 1 second left. Yoink! No chance to get the diffuser down, and it's match point for TSM, as Benji can't do anything about it.
Achieved certainly yoinking that round away from Mirage. Well put, Parker. And you can tell based on the player cams, he let his opponents know about it. That is unfortunate for Mirage. There it is. Beautiful stuff. Good awareness of what was happening in the site and the clock as well. Timing that one to perfection. TSM now on match point, and they look poised to take this map, despite that round going so much in favor of Mirage. There were so many things that Mirage did correctly in that last round. They cleared out over by Library really well and didn't lose any manpower over there. They managed to get a pick as well. Thank you. Thank you. I am taking a bow right now. You guys can't see it. And then they opened up the wall without a hitch. They wasted one Ash charge on it, but that's okay. Wall opened up, no bodies lost again, no time wasted. Following that, Dream got a really nice pick onto the player in piano. That was Chala. That pick was crucial. Not a single body lost on the piano push, and that's, you know, with Mirage expecting to lose a player there, putting 2 players in that position for the refrag. So, piano control, wall open, plenty of time. You're entering in. You've got the man advantage by 2. Everything's going well for Mirage, but Achieved is downstairs with the C4, and he knows where you're planting. Truly unfortunate. Sometimes it happens, though. That's just Siege.
So, we ascribe shorthand to all the bomb sites, right? So far, I have Wine for the downstairs bomb site, Bar for the first floor bomb site, Master upstairs. This bomb site, we're going to see it for the very first time. It's dining and kitchen. What do you want to call it? What's shorthand?
I think kitchen. We always hear kitchen more over dining. Like we stay in line with
like
other
that.
maps. We probably call it kitchen.
Beauty. So we're going to call it kitchen. So all 4 bomb sites have now been played here on Chalet. If I'm TSM, maybe you're going to try to catch Mirage off guard, because so far on their attacks haven't been exactly the strongest. They got off to a good beginning, though, a good footing on round number 8, but didn't really do them any good past that. Geo's back in stock. He's taking a beating as they drone him out multiple times, and now a lion charge is going to be, well, a real tough spot for him.
Don't persist, though, and Chala gets the first kill, this time onto Nyx, who has been the main entry for Mirage. He hasn't been having the best performance overall, but a better performance than a good chunk of his team. 2 minutes left here, still plenty of time for Mirage to get this execute, but they're struggling to pick off the player back in storage. Nice spray there. Geo finally goes down to Houghton, who gets his 12th kill. The nade was helping him out with forcing the reposition, and now TSM and Mirage even in terms of man count. Control is okay for Mirage. They do get the south side of the building, and that seems to be the primary strategy for almost all of these bomb sites. Take the other side of the building over. In this case, it's working even better as Mirage gets their second frag. Loading able to pick up Achieved, who has been very clutch for TSM.
Behind this deployable shield was Chala, but he's going to lose the wall into dining and peel off. Maybe the right call. Now Merc can watch it as that opening down beneath him, well, could possibly do some damage. And it's been opened up in such a way that he can see into lobby as well. Bolo swings, but Benji Mula has the better shot in that one, and TSM just find themselves losing gunfights left and right. Good for Merc, though, as he don't miss. And in this regard, his 7th kill is good enough. He loses to Hot and Cold though, and now Dream finishes off, and Mirage finally get a round on attack. It's the 3rd bomb site in the cycle for TSM, but finally something to be happy with. They've got quite a hill to climb, as it's still TSM on match point.
Beautiful play there for Mirage, recovering from losing that player early on. Nyx on the entry just wasn't able to hack it, but the rest of Mirage certainly came alive. TSM, I think you put it well. They were just losing a lot of gunfights, and the big problem was is that they're taking those gunfights. TSM is the one initiating the fight. That really does not bode well for their chances if they happen to go back to that site. However, they don't need to. They're going to go to Bar Gaming, which appears to be their primary, and we'll see how this one goes. Interestingly, I don't think we've seen a basement defense from TSM. They seem to not favor that bomb site, which is fair enough. It's kind of understandable because all of these bomb sites are affected by hard destruction, obviously, but the most affected by hard destruction is going to be the basement. And yes, the Thatcher is banned, but there's still so many ways to circumvent all the denial you can place on the walls for the attackers. So maybe that's part of why TSM doesn't want to go downstairs. If you get this, especially like if you get the snowmobile wall opened up as an attacker, essentially the basement becomes just an incredibly difficult site to defend. You get so much cut off there for the attack. Whatever the reasoning is, TSM, yeah, they just don't favor the bottom floor.
Maybe they're just assuming that Mirage is going to be most comfortable on that bomb site. I mean, you talked about it. That bomb site does tend to be one of the most common, if not the most commonly played in ranked, and it might show up a lot in scrims as well. From what we saw out of Mirage, I mean, they liked defending it too. And I mean, in other regions that we've seen this map, same thing applies. So if they're trying to beat Mirage by picking a map that Mirage is not comfortable on, it stands to reason that they'd also go to bomb sites that Mirage is not comfortable attacking as well. That could be some of the thinking why behind we don't see that wine cellar defense. Also, this bar bomb site is quite defendable. So you're not really losing anything by going here.
No, certainly not. I think that TSM have found their comfort groove on the map. At least they think they have. Again, I will reiterate that I don't think either of these teams, at least from what I'm seeing, have fully figured out this map. But they're miles ahead of the rest of us, that's for sure. So we can only watch and wait to see when it looks perfected. For right now, Mirage look to be clearing out top floor, north side, as you expect. Again, the basic strategy seems to be reflected of that, like every other map in competitive Siege. Clear from the same floor over to, on the far side, over to the site. It's north to south this time, since the site is on the south side.
I was curious if Not Loading could see Bolo's position by fireplace through that library window, but no, it didn't appear so. Bolo's able to just scoot on out, and now he'll look at that exact window I just mentioned. Over on the library balcony, Bolo pivots, he gets one, and Geo another. So TSM start off this round just as they wanted. Still long range towards the window as well. Bolo snags another, and a third is possible as an exothermic charge will go off inside of office, opening things up. And they know that, well, for Mirage, there's a lot of work to be done. It's Benji Mula and Dream versus a perfectly aligned TSM squad 2v5 match on the line. Mirage have had a bit of a rude entrance to NA League so far, and it doesn't look like TSM are keen to make it any easier.
I know that Geo is one of the top performers, but how did Bolo even win those fights is the real question. He's the hero this round for me. As Benji gets Geo, though, things get a little bit better for Mirage, but it's now just on Dream, who has to pick up 4 kills. He won't even get the first. Chalet shuts him down, and there it is. TSM take the map, and they are the more confident and more professional team on this new map of Chalet.
Bolo in particular had a massive round. I think almost every player, except for Chalet, I think every single player had an incredibly crucial series of kills in every round. Chalet was reliable as always, and I hope that they created an appreciation post for him on the subreddit, as I'd mentioned. He technically bottom frags, but he plays his role quite well. As for the rest